out three things which I think are very pertinent. The first one's the Chief Internal Auditor's annual opinion for 21-22. Now, you know that's 21-22, which we received in 22-23. That's a difference of the financial years. And that covers the framework of governance, risk management and control, includes quarterly updates on the work of internal audit. The annual governance statement and the annual statement of accounts were also considered in detail by the committee, as was the work of external auditors in 21-22. The external auditors are Mazars, by the way. So that's the first point, and that's the basis of all the work of the Audit and Standards Committee. The second point I want to raise is that there's been a delay in the final approval of the accounts for 2021 and 21-22, principally around a technical issue linked to asset valuations. Now, it's nothing that this authority has done wrong. It's nothing that any of the local authorities in the North East have done wrong, but it's about asset valuations in the wider context, and external auditors in the south of the country identified this particular problem, and it's taken a long period to get it resolved. It was resolved in January this year, and the good news is that the accounts for 2021 have now been resolved and laid. So that's a good news point. My third point links to this one I've just made, but the third point is workforce issues, and workforce issues in particular in the lack of auditors across the UK in the public sector. Now that has impacted the 22-23 accounts, which should have been in this committee probably this month or maybe September, but won't arrive until January. But it's also impacted the 21-22 accounts that hopefully you will get in September. That's nothing to do with the work of the Combined Authority, nothing to do with the finance team. It's the lack of auditors to get the accounts audited. And just out of interest, it should impact some of your local authorities as well. And the Public Accounts Committee discussed it and reported on it in only last month. So it's a live issue and it's a national issue. So that covers the work of the committee. Now, the Chartered Institute of Public and Finance Accountants recommends that all audit committees should assess how they are performing. And when I came in January, that was one of the first things which we did, is take a look at how we were performing as an Audit and Standards Committee. We identified two areas where we thought we could improve, and the first one was around quoracy. Now, if you've read the papers, you would have noted in the annex that the meetings in July 22 and November 22, we struggled to be quorate. And if you're not quorate, you cannot make decisions, as you all quite rightly know. Again, the good news is the January meeting, which was my first meeting, we were quorate, but attendance has improved since then. The April meeting was better attended, and the July meeting earlier this month, out of the 9 members, I think we had 8 attended, so we had 1 absentee, which is a step in the right direction. The other thing we did earlier this month was an upskilling event. And I think, talking to some of the executives, it may well have been the first upskilling event that the Audit and Standards Committee and the Combined Authority has actually had. And what we did there was we talked around the function, responsibilities of an audit committee and what we would expect from members who were attending the audit committee. And that's gone down quite well. And we're going to have a look to whether we could do something different, but another upskilling event, perhaps in November of this year. Maybe something around risk management and maybe something around the transition risks as we move to the new mayoral authority. So I've done 3 meetings. I've found that the committee members who have attended have asked some really good and really challenging questions. And I think Janice will endorse that. We've received the appropriate responses. We've done our best to support the executives. We've done our best to challenge the auditors where necessary. And the committee, I would say, is still evolving, and hopefully we'll make strides to improve the performance of the committee as we go through to May of next year. One of the things which we'll be looking to do is to help de-risk the transition as far as we possibly can, and we're working with the finance team and the governance team on that. So that's the report. That's my summary of the report, and happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much. Much appreciated. You have been very, very busy since you came and joined us, haven't you? Right. Thank you. Has anyone got any questions for David? No? Any comments about that? I just want to thank you for your hard work, to be quite honest. And it's nice to hear that you're already thinking about the transition. Thank you so much. Thank you. So can we agree that report then? Thank you. The next report is the North Tyneside Combined Authority Annual Pay Policy. And who's speaking to that? Are you, Janice? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, this is the annual pay policy statement that we're required to produce under relevant legislation. This sets out our remuneration approaches, the remuneration for low-paid employees, chief officers, etc., and some aspects of that equality reporting in terms of the ratio of male to female pay levels. There's no changes to the pay policy as it currently stands at the moment into this financial year. So happy to take any questions from the committee.
Regarding the pay policy paper? No. Right. Thank you, Councillor Weymouth. Can we agree that then? Thank you so much. We're now on to item 7, which is Councillor Johnson will report on the investment fund update. Thank you, Councillor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm delighted to introduce a jumbo-sized set of investments by the Combined Authority. These include 12 million of new UK Shared Prosperity Funding approvals and 1.1 million of further investment fund commitments. These projects build upon our previous investment fund commitments of 124.6 million, and good progress has been made with our UK Shared Prosperity Programme. Approval of the projects today would take the investment to 31 million, more than half of the total funding available to us. Our investments in the future of the region are against a backdrop of high inflation, mortgage rate increases, and have a real impact on our residents, many facing over £500 a month increase in their rental and mortgage bills. Elsewhere, there has been some recent good news in the North East, but we remain concerned on job numbers, but we remain concerned about the high number of residents who are unable to work due to poor health. I'm delighted to be able to update Cabinet on a diverse range of our investments, covering a broad range of our priorities. First, they include almost 6 million investment in communities, supporting the Work and Well Community Hub in North Tyneside, providing the space for a co-location collaboration between health, employment and skills services. Funding for community partnerships in the Outer West and the Inner West and north of Newcastle, south east of Northumberland and communities in the northwest of North Tyneside. The partnerships will support investment in a range of local priorities, with projects predominantly being brought forward by the volunteering community sector. Support for new volunteering in the social action programme, which will improve the capacity in the governance organisations seeking volunteers, whilst also creating new volunteering opportunities. Second, there's over a 3 million investment into our culture and creative industries. We recognise the importance of supporting the sector, given its role in providing good employment and help drive vibrancy and regeneration of our places. In addition to a programme of business support and finance, we are contributing to redevelopment of the Cultural Business Centre and the Globe Gallery in North Shields. We've also provided funding to the North Shields Cultural Quarter to bring forward an affordable and flexible workspace for culture and creative businesses, alongside improvement work to the gallery space. Third, almost £1 million into local tourism events, supporting projects across the North Tyne Combined Authority area. Collectively, these will encourage new visitors, raise the profile of various smaller operators, and increase footfall to local businesses and provide a great offer to residents. Finally, over £3 million of funding to support and grow businesses for not-for-profit organisations, helping businesses from point of start-up which need special support to help them rapidly scale up. We're also doing some work on the local nature recovery strategies, and government recently announced that all areas of the country should have a local nature recovery strategy, which will map existing habitats and specific proposals for creating or improving habitats. Given Northumberland County Council's earlier participation in the pilot activities and the expertise they have in the area, I'm delighted they've agreed to lead on production of the strategy for the Combined Authority area. I just want to thank all of the colleagues for their contribution to develop these projects, which span many of the Combined Authority priorities. This is not something that any one person can do alone. This requires all of the Cabinet to pitch in, and all of these projects that we are agreeing today do come down to a lot of hard work by the Cabinet members in their brief and right across the span of the Combined Authority. So I'm just happy to commend these reports to Cabinet, Chair.
Councillor Johnson, has anybody got any questions, first of all?
Could I
Yes,
just
yes,
say
Councillor
how
Anderson.
grateful I am for the North of Tyne channeling in sufficient and, in fact, generous funding to allow us to do our rural programme. It's incredibly important work that we do on behalf of the North of Tyne, and we look forward to getting well stuck into it and producing the results that we need for the sake of our landscape and our residents who care very much about the environment that we are here to protect.
Thank you, Councillor Sanderson. Anyone else want to comment on this programme? Well, I would like to, if that's all right, being the chair. I would just like to say that when I look down that list of projects, it's amazing what we have achieved. And reminding ourselves that the reason we came together, because all of those projects our residents have benefited from, to be quite honest, it has made a big difference to our area. And I think when we looked at the rural money that's been given to those areas, is the fact that we all enjoy the rural area and we love to come and visit it, and our residents do too. So all I can add to all of that's been said is that coming together has been really worthwhile, and we have been able to make a difference, and many of it is very obvious out there. And a lot of our residents, to be quite honest, who would never ever have got the opportunity to do some of these things, have been given that opportunity. So thank you all for coming on board. Much appreciated. Anyone else want to comment on that? Good. Can we agree that report then? Thank you so much. The next item is the statement of accounts, Janice.
Thank you, Chair. This is basically an update to Cabinet, the Mayor and Cabinet, as to where we are in terms of the 22-23 statement of accounts. As you probably would have expected us to have completed those by now, and as Chair of Audit and Standard has articulated, there have been challenges as a result of the knock-on effect of the valuation of infrastructure assets issue, pension fund valuation issues, and indeed the availability of external audits. So we're a bit behind where we wanted to be at this point in the year, but we are aiming to produce and publish the drafts by the end of July. So by next Monday we should have the statements on the website. I guess what's also been highlighted is the auditors don't intend to give us an opinion by the end of September, as you might have expected. So we're not expecting their opinion to be concluded until January next year. So there continues to be a delay in the auditors' work at this point in time. That won't stop us preparing for the end of this financial year in light of transition, etc. It becomes even more important. But we'll conclude this year's accounts by, last year's accounts, sorry, by Monday next week. So thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Janice. Has anybody got any questions for Janice on this particular report? No? Can we agree this report then? Agreed, thank you. We now go on to the Q1 Budget Monitor report, and it's you again, Janice.
Thank you. Yes, this is the first budget monitoring report for this financial year, 23-24, and this gives us a flavour of the forecast position to the year end at this point in March, but we will look to extend that into May, beginning of May in future. The report gives you highlights across all the major funding streams that we have, and I guess has already been articulated in the update on the investment fund. We have a significant level of commitment cumulatively now against the programme, but this year's challenge is quite significant in terms of how much we expect to spend this financial year on its own is more than the cumulative value that we spend up to the end of March 2023. So not an insignificant sum, but that really is an articulation of the fact that many of the projects we have in train now, this will be their final year of delivery. So that delay in getting projects underway, the impact of COVID, etc., this is kind of accumulation of that final year against original allocations. So we'll continue to work through that throughout this year. There's nothing to suggest at the moment that won't be achieved, but obviously we'll keep a close eye to that and understanding what the consequences are as we take projects that will continue beyond the end of North of Tyne into the next combined authority position. Other than that, I think highlights around UKSPF have already been articulated in terms of we now committed a significant sum, more than half of the fund now to be delivered over the course of the next 2 years. And then I think probably the other major area to highlight is brownfield housing, where whilst the first couple of years we saw quite a bit of spend from those, spade-ready projects that were able to start delivery. I think it's more challenging now to get projects underway and out the door. So last year the spend was fairly low, but not an insignificant target to get the spend out up to March 25. So a good proportion of that to get through this year and next. But we have a strong pipeline of appraisals that have been completed now, so I'm confident that we should be able to hit that deadline. And I'm happy to take any questions, Mayor.
Thank you, Janice. I'm sure we'll all be looking that we've got plenty of brownfield sites and making them ready. Thank you very much. Has anybody got any questions of Janice on that particular report? No? Can we agree that report then? Lovely. Right. Well, I have to tell you that the next meeting is scheduled for 2 o'clock on the 26th of September. So if you are leaving us at the minute, some of you won't, of course, if you agree to the exclusion resolution, I'm asking the Cabinet if you could. And if you are leaving us at this minute, do have a good summer break if you're getting one. Thank you very much.